Hi, it's me again with CorelDraw tips and tricks, and this is part two. If you didn't watch part one, you might want to watch part one. I did the same thing, but I rotated it around the center of the, it's not as nice because the lines don't really meet up. So I started thinking, how could you make the lines meet up? And I didn't do a very good job. I left a space here. But the lines all meet up, and it's a different pattern this time. So I thought I'd kind of just share how I did that. We're going to just start from scratch, take a four-sided polygon, do like we did before, hit P, put it in the center of the page, and then turn it into a three-sided polygon like we did in the first video. And then I'm going to draw lines, 2-point lines from that center to a node, which is half the distance between there. This one, it's easy because you can see it. Whoop, easy, but I didn't do a very good job. It's moving right at the click, so let me go the other direction. So to make sure you don't have any leaks, take your Smart Fill tool and fill that in and nudge it out of the way. Left click, right click on it so you got an outline. Now we're going to take you don't have to use a 3-point line or 3-point curve line, but we're going to use one. And we're going to go from way out here, and we're going to try not to leave a space this time. And then we're going to do what we did in the previous video, Control D, double click on it, move the rotation to the center. A lot of times it doesn't look like it, but it is. And then we're going to rotate it 5 degrees just till we get to the other side of that line. And you still might have a little space. Corel does that to me every once in a while. But all you have to do is go 100 degrees and then keep going. My old laptop. We're going to leave it like that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take away, I'm just going to delete my rectangle, and I'm going to delete that line. Pretty important, Control G to group this together, and then nudge this back. Then take everything and intersect it. So now we have just the lines. I shouldn't have deleted my rectangle. Let's back up. I want my triangle. Let's nudge it out of the way. I really want it. So let's delete that line. And let's make sure this is group. It's not, it's 24 objects. Control G, now it's a group of 24. Nudge this back. Let's use our intersect tool. Nudge it over. And then we can delete instead of deleting stuff, I like to just nudge it up out of the way. Let's nudge our triangle back. Whoop, went down. Now, what we need to do is Control D to make a duplicate of that guy. Double click on it and move the rotation of that corner. You have to really make sure it's in there. So double click on it again. And we are. This time we're going to rotate it 120 degrees. And then another time to 240 degrees. Now our line's in the center. Now I'm going to I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, make it easy. I'm going to nudge that out of the way, and I'm going to group this, which is 3 objects. Because we might want to do something else with it, and I'm going to nudge this back, but then I'm going to group it. So we'll actually have 2 groups. Then I'm going to Control D and make a duplicate, and I'm going to mirror it horizontally. Or maybe I mirrored it vertically. And then look at our lines matching up. But we got a total different, I'm going to hit the plus key on the keyboard, get that 4-point cross. And you've got to have Snap 2 on to do this. Snap 2's up here in later models, but it's in your tools. Let's do one more. It's so much easier when you get so many going, you're duplicating 4 at a time. And like in the first video, if I was going to do this for real, I would double check, make sure I'm on the mark, which you are. Let's do one more. And a lot of times, if I would have Control D in this case, I would have, it would just step it down. So that's a pretty cool design. Look at the lines are meeting. So because we grouped, what I'm going to do first is hit the plus key, and I'm going to keep a copy just in case I want to do something. We don't need that anymore, so I can delete it. But because we've grouped it together, we can go to object and group and ungroup, but don't ungroup all. If you ungroup all, then you're going to ungroup even the spiral inside. Let's see how big this thing is now. It's 17 inches. Let's set our nudge factor on 18. And we can start nudging the center line. It's leaving the rectangle. Whoop. If you click on the center, you should just get the lines. And you're leaving the rectangles. And because I'm nudging them up enough, I won't, like in the previous video, I had to delete some triangles so I might have said rectangles a while ago. But that is a pretty cool design. Now, I don't think it'll be as cool as the one previous when we smart fill it, but it totally could. Let's go ahead and delete that. Let's take a rectangle. So that alone is a pretty cool design. And it's the same as before. You could fill things in, but we did a little bit different approach. Let's just cross our fingers and see what this looks like. That's pretty cool. I don't think it's as cool as that one, but it's a total different effect. I mean, that's still a really cool design, and that is too. Anyway, and one other word, I guess you could, if you were gonna, these are all 500 points. That'd be a lot of engraving. You could actually make them all a vector, and I'm working with somebody else's file. You could actually turn them into a hairline and vector this. But if you were going to do that, you'd want to probably weld all this together to make the lines each their own. Anyway, I hope that helped a little bit, and thank you for watching.